Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I'm bad, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
Little roller up along first, behind the bag, it gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Bobby Hurley up the floor with Leitner. They throw it to the left of the floor. Leitner catches, comes down, dribbles, shoots, scores! Christian Leitner has hit the bucket at the buzzer. The Blue Devils win it, 104 to 103.
You're 5 feet nothing, 100 and you got hardly a speck of athletic ability. And you hung in with the best college football team in the land for 2 years.
Leading by 3 as Boone hits it to deep left. That might send the Yankees to the World Series.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's gonna make the fucking difference between winning and losing.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
The American in 55 seconds, but Mikhailov has the puck. Mikhailov sweeping in, out in front, backhander goes wide. I think Creighton might have got just a piece of it.
If we played them 10 times, they might win 9.
Petrov with it, the Americans on top 4-3.
Tonight, we stay with it. And we shut them down because we can. Tonight, we are the greatest hockey team.
You've got 10 seconds. The countdown going on right now. Morrow up to Schultz. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
Hello and welcome to the Sports Bar. As always, grab a beer, pull up a bar stool, sit down and listen to some amazing insight, I think, really. And if you disagree, then, well, that's just because you're dumb. But we have a little bit of a new visitor here today.
I'm kind of confused. You keep looking at me, but I feel like you want to introduce Dean.
Because I'm used to looking that way, period. I've never had to look this way before.
I could just move over.
Can you please? Maybe just over to there?
Sit on his lap.
That's how we roll here.
Lap it.
It's teamwork.
Well, I mean, there are plenty of strip clubs. You just want to start your tryout now?
So if anyone out there, I know this isn't sports related, but if you want to know the wonderful area that we broadcast from, on the rather long 20-mile trek we have to get to the studio, we played a little game. Dean here was looking for nail salon places, which everyone knows how popular they are, and I was looking for strip clubs. I won 7-5. Which, first of all, there's some business opportunities out there if anyone's listening and wants to open a nail salon, because there's no way there should have only been 5 the entire way here.
No, I saw a lot of opportunity out there.
There is. I think a ton of opportunity. We're going to be the only sports radio show that also owns a nail salon.
What are we going to call said nail salon?
I don't know. You just put me on the spot. What are you going to call it there, genius?
I don't know. You're the ones that were going to own it. Usually owners have business plans.
What about something catchy like Sports Nail?
Oh, done. Hey, let's go.
I don't know where they come from. It's organic.
Do we only specialize in putting like helmets on people's fingernails?
Oh no, I mean rhinestones.
So not just like sports.
I saw speaking of that, I saw a Facebook photo of a chick this week. I guess she's a huge Packer fan, but she had really long nails, like fake nails, and they were painted yellow with holes in it to make look like cheese.
Interesting.
The most interesting part is what yellow cheese has holes.
But see,
isn't Swiss always white?
But look at all the freaking cheese heads, and I think they all have it wrong.
Do they have holes in all their little helmet things?
Yeah, they all have holes in them.
Weird.
I think you have Tom and Jerry to thank for that. You know, the big wheels that Jerry used to just.
They had holes in it too, didn't they? Yeah.
There's a big misconception about cheese.
Or maybe we're just completely wrong, because I'm not going to pretend to be a cheese expert.
You don't like cheese.
I like cheese. I just don't like cold cheese. I like melted cheese.
I know. I am aware.
But anyhow, there were more important things going on in the world of sports besides someone's wrongly done nails.
I highly doubt that.
Did she just like eat her, like she bite on her nails there in the game? She got nervous and she.
It was very filling. She got nervous for the whole game and filled herself up on cheese nails.
Well, guys, this is the Sports Bar. We are here live again. You know, there's several ways to get a hold of us. Facebook at the Sports Bar Radio. If you already like us, obviously you see all the great stuff we don't post. And if you don't, you should go ahead and like us on there.
Yeah, there's a job opportunity out there if anyone wants to control our Facebook page because we are seriously lacking in ever updating it.
Usually every Tuesday or so. That's about it. Also, Twitter at Sports Bar Radio 1. And you can call the studio and talk to Dean here. He'd love to hear all your voices. You guys pay attention close enough, you'll recognize his voice, actually. The number is 727-597-4022. So I think we're going to start off with some NFL action. The Saints and Eagles last night.
What a game. What a crappy game.
I thought it was going to be a good game, and then the Saints tried to make it a good game by fumbling every ball they touched. But the Eagles' offense, I don't want to use the word inept because they can move the ball.
Yeah, it's hard to say, it's hard to say you're an inept offense with 400-some yards.
470 yards of offense.
I think the Eagles raised the bar, actually. Normally, they came in at 32% on the season as far as pressure for Michael Vick. They were actually 18 out of 53 dropbacks, 34%, sacked 7 times. So, way to go, Eagles.
So that's what Marcus Vick meant by, besides the O-line, the Eagles team is way too talented to be playing like the way they've been playing. So what's the problem?
Yeah, if anyone wants to do yourself a favor out there, follow Marcus Vick on Twitter because apparently while the Eagles are playing, he has some gems. He begged the team last night to trade his brother so he wouldn't get hurt.
Oh, no, this one's better. I'm going to read this actually as he typed it to understand, Marcus Vick.
So he's reading it in Ebonics.
This not even an NFL type of O-line. What happened to the Hogs the Eagles had last year and year before? Call Winston Justice back and Jamal J.
Pulitzer?
I think so.
I think so. Is there a Pulitzer for social network writing?
Not yet, but I bet there will be.
I guarantee you there
soon.
will be in like 10 years. Because that's pretty much the only writing anyone does anymore. They have to update you on what they had for dinner. But anyhow, the game was just, the Saints are looking good. Having Vilma back for however long he's back for definitely seems to be helping out that defense a little bit.
Kind of. They're still giving up over 425 yards in 8 straight games.
Yeah, but that's what the Saints defense of the past did before, even when it was a good defense. It just, I hate the term, but it played the bend, don't break mentality.
They bring a lot of pressure and then just give up a bunch of yards, but they get the turnovers.
And that's what they did last night, and that's what Vilma's good for. He's their play caller. I think that not just his play on the field, but his defensive play calling, I think, is what they missed the most out of him.
I agree. And my point being is last night they were bend, don't break. And yeah, they've won 3 of their last 4. But, this is a team that it looks like really to win week in, week out, they're going to have to score 40. Not because Drew Brees and that offense can put up 40, but just because they're going to have to.
Well, and how much of that, though? Anyone that's listened to the show knows Jason and I, at least, are diehard Redskin fans. And we've talked about this with maybe their defense in years past looked better than when it really was because the offense didn't have to score points. Maybe the flip side to that's a little bit true. As quick as what that Saints offense is, hard hitting is what it is. It moves very fast. It doesn't stay on the field long, even during its scoring drives. And I think some of that maybe hurts their defense.
Well, I agree, but I'm just looking at this. They gave up 35 points to Carolina, 27 points to Kansas City.
They actually lost to Kansas City.
And Carolina.
How do you give up 27 points to Kansas City?
How do you lose to Kansas City?
But when was that?
It was week 3.
Okay, and I said having Vilma back. He wasn't back then.
They gave 28 points to Tampa Bay with Vilma on the field.
Tampa Bay's playing better right now.
Okay.
By the way, how'd that trade work out for you, buddy?
Well, Doug Martin, I miss him terribly. But McFadden's working out great for me. I'm excited about the high ankle sprain to him and his backup.
Any longtime watchers, I don't know how long you can be considering this is only our 4th show, but we had a phone call recently to the Sports Bar asking for trade advice, and it would be the gentleman sitting to my right now. asking about a trade for where he would be giving up Doug Martin and getting back Darren McFadden. And we said it was something he had to do, and he ended up agreeing with us. Well, now McFadden is hurt, and Doug Martin just had like the 4th best fantasy game in the history of fantasy sports.
And he's now the number 1 ranked running back
in all of the NFL.
So, about that fantasy football advice, don't listen to us.
Yeah, do the opposite.
Yeah.
Whatever we tell you, go with the opposite.
No, it really speaks of volumes to what we say quite frequently about fantasy football. You're going to make deals, you're going to make moves, you're going to make these transactions. They're going to work or they're not going to work. But as long as you trust don't trust the prognosticators or these people that think they're professionals. You make the call for you. You're going to be right sometimes, you're going to be wrong sometimes. But at least if you make it for you, you only have yourself to blame, and you're not going to go on some weird Twitter rant and call Matthew Berry 1,000 names that are unwarranted.
I can't wait till we get big enough that people hate us.
I want my first death tweet.
I know. I can't wait for that. I'm going to print it out and frame it the first time we get a death threat for our advice.
I think we've made it once Marcus Vick makes a tweet again. Maybe we can trade for his brother.
No, but then he'll like us.
That's true.
And no one wants to be liked by Marcus Vick.
Unless we can't protect him against the blitz.
Fair enough.
I don't want to see brother with brain problems by the time he's 45. Everybody have a job to do, so do it.
I think he has the brain problems.
It's Marcus Vick, man. Come on. It's that Virginia Tech edumacation. Solid. Anything else in the NFL really this week?
I hope so, because we got a whole show to do.
We do. I think there's too much going on to like.
Well, let's stick with the same game right here, and I'll throw this out there. What do you think of the Saints' chances of making the playoffs? Obviously they started behind the 8 ball at their slow start. They do at least have their second coach back now. Yeah.
Honestly, I think they were, in my opinion, a little bit too far behind the 8 ball in that sense. At 3-5 now, I believe. You still have 2 games with Atlanta, San Francisco, the Giants. All winnable games, but not guaranteed wins. Nothing that's gonna be easy. They do have Oakland and Dallas and Carolina as well. So I see an 8-8 football team, and I don't know that that's gonna get them to the playoffs.
No, AFC it definitely would.
Oh,
but yeah, that 8-8 won't get it there, and I could see them maybe going 9-7, but I'm still not sure. I think that puts you in the tiebreaker maybe, and then it's just gonna. Whoever teams you ended up being tied with is going to be luck of the draw a little bit.
I could probably get them the division title in the NFC East.
It probably could.
In the East, yes.
Unfortunately
definitely.
for them, they're not in the AFC or the NFC East.
You look like you were going to say something, so I let you talk. It was kind of crazy.
That's the first time you've
ever
done
New
that.
Orleans is in 3rd place right now in the South, 1 game behind Tampa Bay, who they have beaten. So, it closes the gap there, basically by a half a game. But you're already 5 games behind Atlanta. You're not winning the division. So you're completely looking for a wild card at this point. And I just don't know, unless they go on a big run, a 10-6 type run, that you're going to get there with teams, Seattle's 5-4. They could obviously be in that hunt. Tampa, I think they're starting to play good football and could be in that hunt. Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit, all those teams at 500 or above right now.
Detroit's 500?
4-4.
Are they really?
They've won their last 2.
Seems like they've been playing worse than that.
Well, they played Jacksonville.
That doesn't even count as a football team. That should only count as a half a win.
Agreed.
Thank you.
It's deep insight. Trying to give Mr. Dean over there a chance to speak on some things, and
I'm just going to ease into things. I was on the IR for the first few weeks, so now you put me in a couple of plays.
Is that why you
let me
trade?
rest.
Is that why you traded for Darren McFadden? You needed some company.
Company on the IR. Speaking of
still hurts.
Me wanting to make a joke about you saying ease into things. Did you guys hear Gruden's comment for maybe making a T-shirt for the top 10 things that sound extremely dirty in football?
It was probably one of the most horrendous things I've ever heard a commentator say.
He actually said, for those that didn't watch Monday Night Football last night, Gruden, of course, was talking about the Eagles' backup running back. And he was trying to compliment him, and his way of doing it he said, he has some really nice lower body parts. I love the way he just rams it in the hole.
Moment of silence.
Yes.
Let that marinate.
He said that on national television about another man. He has some really nice lower body parts. I love the way he just rams it in the hole. How do you not giggle if you're like beside him hearing him say that in the booth? I give them all the credit in the world for not even. Imagine if Dennis Miller was still doing it and he heard someone say that.
Oh, that would have been the whole halftime show.
Yeah. I think it's the halftime show brought to you by Pornhub.
It'd been better than last night's halftime show. And that's not a knock on.
Bourbon's catching a lot of flack for that halftime show, but what do you want him to do? I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know that he was the right person in general for those interviews.
and they said the same thing 4 years ago. I don't get the idea of the last thing people see. I mean, I guess it's a huge audience, more than they would normally get, but really, you want the last interview either presidential candidate gives to be at halftime on Monday Night Football by Chris Berman?
Yeah, and I guess my thing is it's cool, great, have them on. Obviously, again, you have like you said, you have the large viewing audience. You have people that obviously have investment into, the election. You would hope that any citizen would have some investment into that. But like I've heard multiple places say, make it a little bit more lighthearted. At least, okay, great. It's the night before. What are they going to say on Monday Night Football that's going to sway an election on Tuesday?
Yeah, pretty much nothing.
I feel like if you're waiting till Monday Night Football's debate to make your decision on Tuesday,
the 2.5-minute interview that you get to see,
don't just stay home on Tuesday if that's the case. Well, they should have stayed home anyways to listen to us.
In Ohio, it might not even matter with the new software that they installed.
That stuff was awesome. It was crazy.
All right, no politics.
I don't even know if that was in that video was in Ohio, but nonetheless crazy. But that's all the political talk you will get from us today. So moving right along. So there was some other good stuff in the NFL this week. I
just have to comment on our
great
show.
Performances like Doug Martin's.
A lot of other sports shows you watch, if the anchor picks up the cell phones because they're getting some text message or whatever with incredible sports insight and something like that. Now this show gets text from their mom. So if anyone saw me pick up my phone right there, it's because mom texts me.
Hi, Mom.
Just saying.
Mom. Hey, once everyone's on board, we won't get text messages like that during the show. But right now, they're just proud.
So those other good games this week, I think.
There was. I mean, I think there was good performances, more I'd say, than good games. The Bears defense, Doug Martin.
The Bears defense that somehow makes defenses relevant in fantasy football.
For the first time, not ever, but yes.
They have to be given one of the best fantasy performances for a whole season by a defense ever.
It's the highest scoring fantasy football entity this year. I mean, not even Arian Foster can top them.
Well, not the highest.
It isn't number one.
They're number one.
But it is ahead of Arian Foster.
Yeah, they're overall ranked.
Also, my fact checker wasn't quite quite off.
It's okay, though. They are in the top 20, which is still amazing for a defense. And they are outperforming Arian Foster and Adrian Peterson to this point. And they're both having good years.
Yeah, Adrian Peterson's leading the league in rushing yards, and the defense is outscoring
Arian Foster's leading the league in touchdowns.
Yeah. Put them together, they'd be super fantasy athlete.
It's pretty impressive for destroying your knee on Christmas last year.
Yeah, that won some people some fantasy titles probably this year and made some other people lose who decided to pass him up.
Oh, I actually traded him away in the offseason, so and Darren McFadden, only to trade back for him when he got hurt.
You have off-season trades?
Well, it was draft day.
Okay. I was confused for a second. I was like, what kind of league are you in? We actually carry a 53-man roster.
Yeah, we have off-season camps, and it's actually.
You get the players to show up to those, or are they voluntary?
It's voluntary.
They're completely voluntary.
And so far, we don't have anyone who's shown up for any of them.
It's just him and his uncle throwing the football around.
That is rather unfortunate.
Then they go down to the uncle's naked puzzle basement.
Yes.
We don't want to talk about those times.
God, that basement.
It gets everyone.
It does.
You won't wear a shirt and you'll cry.
It really does. And with that D, the Bears defense, 8 scores by defensive players this year. 8. 2 on Sunday.
How many?
8.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if anyone heard that. But that's a lot of defensive touchdowns for a year. That's in 8 weeks, 9 weeks.
How far do you have to go back with you know, a lesser defense to have accumulated so many touchdowns?
Oh.
I don't have the answer to that, but I'm just posing the question. If anybody knows out there, just give us a call here at Sports Bar Radio.
Yeah, 727-597-4022. Give us some knowledge that we will then claim as our own when we continue to talk about it later.
Yeah, because all you guys did was look it up on a computer. Everything we say, don't pay attention to Jason's computer, is completely off the top of our heads and stuff we know without ever having to look up.
100% organic and 90% or above on all hindsight.
Yeah, if our knowledge was to be sold, it'd be at Trader Joe's.
It
Completely
would.
organic.
Yeah. Extremely organic. 31-5 at halftime against the Titans.
The Bears? We're still in the Bears? All
We
right.
are in the Bears.
I've said it for quite a few weeks now. I think they're the best team in the NFC. And
They're starting to prove it. And, I mean, the offense is playing well as well. It's not like it's just the defense.
no, and for a little bit this year, it was kind of just the defense.
Brandon Marshall's really stepped it up past few games.
Apparently, that's just the way to revive either one of them's careers. Put Jay Cutler and Brandon Marshall together on the team. If not for that, then both of them are average.
Yeah, but together.
Together, they form like Voltron Bear.
Wow, that's a scary bear. As I'm looking at this, the Bears have actually only allowed one more touchdown by teams, other offenses, than they've scored themselves.
That's ridiculous. So on the plus minus and points the defense have accounted for, they're only -6.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
Yeah, that's.
You're going to win a lot of games that way.
I feel you are. And Tim Jennings having a great year. I think he had 6 picks. Charles Tillman has forced 7 fumbles already this year. 4 against the Titans on Sunday.
And that bears the question a little bit.
You said Bears.
Interesting. That it's probably not going to continue. At least not the touchdowns. Maybe the turnovers, but not the touchdowns on defense. I can't imagine for the next 8 weeks they're going to get 8 more. So is this a team that if they fall back a little bit closer to the NFL average there of defensive points scored, are they still just as good? Do they need that to win?
I don't think so. And the reason I say that is
I don't know which one you're saying you don't think so to. Are they just as good or do they need that to win?
Well played.
To your last question there, I don't think they need that to win. I think the turnovers is putting the offense in good enough a position to score as well. They don't necessarily need to score in these; they just are, and that's a big asset. But I believe, this is a 31-point victory over the Titans, which actually increased their margin of victory on the year to over 20 points a game. So even if you take away those touchdowns,
I wonder if that's a record.
you take away those defensive touchdowns, they're still going to win these football games. These scores they've won by 41-21. 34-18, 41-3, 51-20.
Well, and they got a tough matchup coming up this week. So
2 in a row, actually. They have Houston on Sunday night and then San Francisco on Monday night.
Oof.
So I think we're really going to see the true Bears, where they really stand. Because I will say, they have not played a lot. Tennessee, Carolina, Detroit when they were struggling, Jacksonville, Dallas, St. Louis, Indianapolis. Those are their wins.
Yeah, those aren't very good wins. And their one loss was what, to Green Bay?
To Green Bay.
A good team. So
this next stretch is really their stretch to prove whether or not this Bears team is real or
it's amazing how many bad football teams there are in the NFL right now.
It's the AFC.
Yeah, mostly the AFC. What other games were of note?
I guess, we keep talking about the Doug Martin game, which you can't ignore the fact that the guy ran for 250 yards and 4 touchdowns. I know Dean over there keeps cringing every time his name comes up, so I'm going to try to do it as much as possible the rest of the way. Doug Martin.
I miss you, Doug.
Some other games. What do you want to talk about? You had
Bucks Raiders. Plenty of scoring to talk about. Even aside from Doug Martin.
I think there were actually more total points scored in that game than there were people in the stands.
Possibly. Oakland, those fans, they come no matter what. They're scary people. Carson Palmer threw the ball 61 times in that game.
I didn't know if Carson Palmer could throw the ball 61 times in a season anymore.
Yeah, for 414 yards and 4 touchdowns, and no one's talking about that.
How did we miss that?
Because Doug Martin ran for 251 and ran for 4. And
I think he also threw 3 picks, but But, needless to say, 4 touchdowns is a big victory for the Raiders offense.
Oh,
Granted,
especially an offense that ran for 22 yards.
Wow.
Yeah, they didn't do any. Okay, how many yards did Tampa Bay have? Because they also had like 300 passing yards. Oh, they had a lot of yards.
Did they really?
Well, they ran. It was 515 total yards.
That's a pretty good day.
Oakland's.
Once you abandon the run like that, it was actually a pretty close game. They had the lead going into halftime, and they wound up with 11 attempts for those 22 yards all game. And at the end, I understand they were trying to play catch up, but where were the rushing yards before that? Where were the attempts? They just have kind of given up on the rushing game altogether.
Well, they got a running back out of the stands to play.
Yeah.
Pretty much every back they have is hurt.
Yeah, when you're down to Tywan Jones, I don't know that your running game is going to be successful, period. So maybe you just abandon the run out of necessity.
He does not have good lower body parts and does not hit the hole hard.
How do you know?
Did you watch the game?
No. Neither did you.
No, I didn't.
So, how do you know?
Did anyone?
Well, if it was a home game for Tampa, then no, but it wasn't, so maybe.
Well, in the Raiders' defense, the Bucs are the number 1 rushing defense in the league, which I didn't know till I looked up earlier today. I was actually kind of surprised about that.
Very interesting. Really, that is interesting. I know that there's been a lot of teams that have been up there, but I didn't realize Tampa had maintained their spot.
Number 1 now.
Don't mind Jason hearing his crazy faces. He's playing with the computer right now, and it's actually pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty humorous.
The only problem is I can't minimize that because our towel's in the way.
You don't know where you have to go. Okay, interesting. Another good game. The Steelers at the Giants was a pretty good game. I think it was marred a little bit by what some will believe a horrible call on a review by the referees and calling Roethlisberger's
It was a horrible call.
A fumble, which I think definitely handed the Giants some points. Not good, but Steelers still found a way to win. The offensive line definitely is keeping Ben Roethlisberger upright. Of course, it's because they cheat, according to JPP and OC.
Did they say something about it?
Oh, yeah, going into the week, they said the Steelers basically get away with, oh, and look, my mom decides to text.
Random.
Huh, who knew?
My mom doesn't know how to text.
All right, then. Going into the game, they made comments about how the Steelers basically get away with murder and they hold on every single play, and it's pretty obvious. And you saw it in the Redskins game where, everyone's getting held all over the place, but it's the Steelers, so they get all the calls. And I really think it's just a ploy to get in the refs' heads to maybe make some calls. But it's just...
I mean, that's definitely not the first time that's happened in the NFL where they've tried to point something out before the game in hopes of getting some extra calls during the game.
Yeah.
Although JPP needs to just shut his mouth.
Yeah.
He seems to run it before every game all year, and he hasn't really done much.
Not that I've seen. Definitely not that I've seen. So there's that game. I think the NFL was weird this week. Lots of games, but nothing really to talk about. Adrian Peterson with a great performance, really solidified himself that he's healthy, like we said. Anything you got, Dean?
I'd like to play a little game, actually. I'm going to read off some quotes by the late, great John McKay, and I want you guys to guess which team I'm referring to. Not which one he was, but the one that I think best exemplifies what he was saying.
It would have been real easy if we were guessing which one he was talking about.
Why don't you inform our listeners first who John McKay is?
John McKay he was a coach for USC, and he actually was the first Buccaneers head coach back in 1976 when they became an expansion franchise. He was known for a bit of a dry sense of humor. Very, very funny, though. I'll just get right into these here. We can't stop a pass or a run. Otherwise, we're in great shape.
I'm going to go with...
I'm going with the Washington Redskins on that one.
Yeah, that's a great one. That is very Redskin-esque. And as to not repeat, I will go with the Tennessee Titans.
Both very good answers. In fact, there are no wrong answers.
Wait.
Unless we were to say the Chicago Bears on that one.
I'd have to turn that one down, yes.
So there are wrong answers. Make up your mind.
I don't know anymore.
We're hard on the new guy.
Well,
All right, John Gruden.
we didn't block, but we made up for it by not tackling.
That's a great quote. I'm going to go Philadelphia Eagles.
Huh. That's a tough one. I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions because their defense has just played fundamentally wrong pretty much all year.
And it's not really fair to include last week's game because they were playing the Jags. Sorry, all you Jags fans out there.
Yeah, that's not even a
all
pro
two
team.
of you.
Sorry, Ron. That's
Ron from Jacksonville, we do apologize.
Now so the third and final quote I have: 3 or 4 plane crashes, and we're in the playoffs.
That is the greatest quote ever.
I just want to back that up when he made that quote after they got their first ever win as a franchise.
Which was in year 2.
Which, yes, was in year 2. They did not win.
Which was in year 2.
They didn't win a game at all in year 1. It was like 26 straight losses or something. It may have been year 3.
Eternal patience, that man.
Unreal.
So what team would that be? I'm going to go with, you know what? They're a good football team, but I'm going to go with the Saints on that one because I think that's what it would take for them to make the playoffs right now.
Okay. I was kind of thinking in a similar realm, not someone that's terrible, the Cleveland and such, but Arizona, the Arizona Cardinals. Started off 4-0, now they're 4-5. I think truly a team that needs a little bit of aviation disaster help.
I'm going to use a little bit of artistic liberty on this quote and just actually change it around a little bit. 7 or 8 plane crashes, and we're in the playoffs, and I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well done. Even then, I don't know that they would get – I don't know that they'd make the playoffs even then.
They got a shot at that point.
They have a shot.
I think they would have a legit shot.
So these plane crashes are the teams that they would be playing, so they're winning them by –
or maybe the teams ahead of them.
But they would still have to win.
Yeah, they'd still have to win. So it's got to be the teams they're playing.
Well, that would definitely be more beneficial to them, unless the teams were actually standing under the crash.
That's interesting. Odd place for a plane to crash. Well, I was going to say, with your scenario, the Chiefs play Denver Broncos twice. So the Broncos actually going to crash, field a whole new team, and then crash again?
If they've got a bye week in between, I say that I don't like the Chiefs' chances.
Yeah, a team they fielded would still be better than the Chiefs.
Oh, goodness.
And that is a game that's a little long forgotten since it was last Thursday, but and there's probably not a lot to say about it, but the Chiefs and the Chargers wound up winning 31-13. Chiefs were actually playing strong up until about halftime or close to halftime, and then things just kind of fell apart for them. 4 Chief turnovers.
Which is that's actually under their
that's
per
under
game
their
average.
Per game
so,
average.
I mean, that's progress.
They usually have more turnovers than Jamal Charles has carries. And Romeo Crennel has no idea why.
Who, mind you, I'm sure people, if you follow football, already know this, but he fired his defensive coordinator the other day himself.
Yes, he fired himself
as his own defensive coordinator and promoted Gary Gibbs, the linebacker coach. 1, how do you fire yourself? And 2,
how do you fire yourself and still have a job afterwards?
Oddly, I think that's exactly why he did fire himself, is to save his job.
And 2, okay, well then my second question is even more relevant. Why did he wait so long?
Yeah. Did he really think he was going to turn it around?
I mean, he does probably know himself better than anybody else. Well, maybe. Guy has a lot of insight in his press conferences, so maybe he doesn't even know anything about himself.
Well, he knows that they're in a hole and they've got to dig their way out.
The best press conference answer ever is which I was referring to earlier and Jason was referring to, when they have a star running back in Jamal Charles and he only got 5 carries. And a reporter said, "Why did Jamal Charles only get 5 carries?" Romeo Crennel answered with, "I don't know." He's the head coach of the football team. And then he makes the decisions. How do you not know why he only got 5 carries?
And then followed up by saying he decided to give Peyton Hillis the ball more because he had the hot hand. And I believe he finished with like 4 carries for 5 yards.
Yes.
Ooh, that's hot.
Yeah.
Hot. White hot.
That team's just a mess.
They are. And you look at that San Diego team, I mean, in the turnovers, 2 defensive touchdowns by the Chargers out of, just ineptitude by the Chiefs. Antonio Gates did have a good game, which was, I guess, a positive sign for the Chargers.
Well, Matt Castle, for one, is in the end zone scrambling to his left and doesn't have the presence of mind to just throw it away, throw it at someone's feet. He just
takes a sack in the end zone.
Takes a sack in the end zone, fumbles the ball. There's one, and then
he was tired.
And in Castle's defense, he threw an interception off the hands of Dexter McCluster, which he should have caught, which created the...
He should have. And actually, right after that, they made mention that I think 8 of his interceptions this year have been tipped passes.
Just ask Dwayne Bowe.
But even still, this team's they're a mess. They're turning the ball over at a historic rate. They need 3 more turnovers for the year to match their last year's total.
And they'll get that next week.
They're on a bye.
They'll still find a way.
Just imagine the records that could be broken if the Chiefs played the Bears every week from here on out.
And actually, they're not on a bye. I lied. They play Pittsburgh on Monday night. I don't know why I thought they were on a bye.
They're on a bye every week.
Yeah.
Well, the team they're playing is. That was the most awkward silence ever.
Yeah, that was kind of weird, but I think it felt longer to us.
It really did. It's okay. A lot going on here. Obviously, we got a lot of football to talk. We actually do have some stuff that we know we're talking about. It's kind of crazy. We're all over the place today. We are, when we come back from a break in a little bit, we're gonna give everyone our midseason MVPs, rookies of the year, defensive player of the year, and things like that. Dean has some insight on those topics as well. Anything else we're gonna talk about today, guys?
I never said I had insight on those topics.
Wait.
Yeah, he has something to say. I don't know if I'd call him insight.
I don't even know if you'd call it something.
Which is a new bowl game, Insight.com bowl.
That one's actually not new, though.
I know.
That one's probably been around longer than most of these other horribly named bowl games.
That one's actually catchy.
Which I feel like we might get into some of the horribly named bowl games a little bit later when we hit on college, because the names of these bowl games is getting out of hand, completely out of hand. One of them, I don't even think they can put like the name on the TV screen. It's so long.
So bad. We will get into those. Got some pretty funny jokes, I imagine, coming up on that. We got some...
I imagine. We're not sure we're funny. He just imagines that we are.
They're going to become organically.
Okay.
That's the word of the day, organic.
Everything organic here.
Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse
We're
word of
going
the day.
We're going green here at the Sports Bar.
Definitely shoot us some tweets at Sports Bar Radio 1. Get us on Facebook at the Sports Bar Radio. We're going to take a quick break. And
if you have anything to say or anything you'd like to hear us talk about, please feel free to call in at 727-597-4022. We'll be right back right after this break.
Oh, we got a back to base. He won't do that on this song. He just likes to do that. You know, he's doing the Lemmy over here. It'll be all right. Hey, bro, can I have a little guitar over here myself?
So they got this. Sit down.
This is the sound guy off already. Hey, check it out. We're going to play a cover song. Yeah, I'm all right, I guess. Now, so I hit it, though. Pitches. About the shape I'm in, I can't sing, I ain't pretty, and my legs are thin. Don't ask me what I think of you, I might not give the answer that you want me to. Understand, he said, stick by me, I'll be your guiding hand. Don't ask me what I think of you, I might have not give the answer that you want me to. Oh, Alright, we want to do another cover because we love the goddamn Rolling Stones.
Hello and welcome back to the Sports Bar. I know we all stuck around because of how amazing that first segment went, so we're back here with you to bring more of our zany humor.
Zany.
Yes, but you can only say the word zany if you shiver like that while you do it.
Zany.
Wow, that was just weird.
It was.
All right, well, welcome back to the Sports Bar. Jason, J. Gill, Dean, we're all here for you. Please feel free to contact the show at 727-597-4022 and all those other fun little social network devices that J. Gill knows, so I'm going to tell him to say them right now.
I have to say these again.
Yeah.
It's probably a good idea. These guys don't know what they're doing out there. The Sports Bar Radio on Facebook. Whoa. I'm getting them all wrong.
Glad I deferred to you.
Sports Bar Radio 1 on Twitter. We have gotten a couple tweets from Brian today.
Have we? I've never Twittered in my life. Is that what you do when you do it? Do you Twitter or do you tweet?
You tweet.
You tweet. Okay.
Tweet. You're a liar.
I don't.
You've tweeted.
I think you should Twitter. From now on, I'm Twittering.
What's the past tense of a tweet?
Quote.
That's what?
There you go.
Whoa.
Is that?
Yeah. What was you doing last night? I don't know. I was spending all night, twatting. I think it sounds reasonable. I think from now on, that's what it should be called.
Let's start a
You get some
grassroots
frothing
campaign.
during the day and some twatting at night.
Some twatting at night.
Ah, that sounds like a productive day.
With the Eagles backup running back who has nice lower body parts.
Man, you and Bryce Brown had a great day. I'm happy for
His
you.
name's Bryce Brown. Of course he has nice lower body parts.
I don't know what that means.
Yes, you do.
And you don't want to.
You know what that means.
Once you go Bryce Brown.
Yeah.
You can fill in the rest.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so on to some stuff that isn't quite as odd.
Like that idea I had for carbonated Yoo-hoo.
Yeah, so we have weird conversations while we're on break, and normally they don't revolve around sports at all, and as it's obvious, they don't revolve around what we're going to talk about next on the show because we never know when we come back from break. But Dean has a brilliant idea for carbonated Yoo-hoo.
So go.
That's pretty much the whole idea.
Yeah, it's just the idea. We're just carbonating
I'm
Yoo-hoo.
just kind of an idea, man. I'm throwing them out there. I don't.
Some stick, some sound awful, like carbonated Yoo-hoo. So you want carbonated milk.
Well,
the thing is
it's a
Yoo-hoo's
whey
not milk.
product.
It's not. It's a what product?
It's a whey product or a whey product.
Whey.
I mean, let's be honest. Yoo-hoo is chocolate drink.
I know.
There's no milk involved.
But it's a milk-esque drink.
No, it's really like chocolate water.
Whey is actually a dairy product.
Whey is.
Yes.
We don't believe in silent letters here.
Not if they're there for a reason.
Yeah, they
I say
gotta be
use
there.
them.
All of them. Facebook.
Facebook. Contact us on
Whey.
Facebook at the Sports Bar Radio.
Oh, I wonder what Marcus Vick has to say about that. Probably something. Let me look.
But we got off track a little bit. We were talking about twats. What did Brian say on Twatter?
Brian.
You said Brian sent us some twats.
Oh, that Brian. I started looking at Marcus Vick's twats and I got confused. Oh, he made a mention that Antonio Gates played a good game for the Chargers, and he also agreed that he always does the opposite of what we tell him to do in fantasy football.
Yeah, he's someone that's called in and gotten some. Or no, he didn't call in. He sent us.
He twats.
Yeah, he twatted us.
That's what he does. That's what he does.
Yet not one from Marcus yet.
No, I can't. I haven't got Marcus Vick to
Well,
send us
it's
one.
hard to pick up Ustream in prison. So
That is true.
the feed gets a little dicey right around all those concrete walls,
Very true, and I think that's yard time anyway.
which also means Ryan Leaf is not watching us right now either.
Here's a good one. What happened from 2010 till now? How you sign better players, but record get worst.
Worst?
Worst.
It says worst.
Well, the good news about that is it's
Worst.
now at a superlative, and it can only get better from here because it can't get any worse.
Worst.
He said worst. And your record get worst.
This kid's amazing. I could do this all day.
Did he graduate from Virginia State or Virginia Tech? Yeah,
He probably
Virginia
had to go to
State.
Virginia State.
Virginia State Community College afterwards to take basic math.
But they did win their Division 6 national championship.
Oh my goodness. He's a mess.
He's a brilliant one.
And the best part about it all was apparently Michael actually, after the game, when he heard about him, was upset and said he tweeted that during the game, "I'm sorry, I was unaware. I'm going to have to go do something about that and address it." So now are they fighting? Is this a brotherly quarrel?
I don't know, but I picture right now Marcus Vick being locked into his bedroom in his mom's house with a giant angry pit bull right outside it, ready for attack.
Michael might drown him.
Yeah, electrocute him. What a family. You got Marcus, who couldn't even wait long enough to get arrested to have a pro career. You got Michael, who left in the middle because of his dogfighting ring he was running, because I guess making $100 million as an NFL quarterback isn't enough money. You need to bet on the dogs.
Well, everybody's got to have a hobby.
Very true.
Yeah, but I think Marcus takes the cake. He's been charged with...
I'm sure he has taken one.
He wasn't much for model airplanes.
He's been charged with brandishing a firearm, molestation of a minor, fraud, driving on the wrong side of the street. Why is that one in there? We've all done that a time or two.
Driving on the wrong side of the street.
Reckless driving, suspended license, and several other probation violations.
There was a day where I was driving home from work, and it was like one of my first days there, and you know how I don't really know the downtown area very well. This one had nothing to do with being drunk. I have no idea how I didn't get pulled over. I wasn't wearing my glasses, so I couldn't read. And I made a right-hand turn when I shouldn't have.
So wait a second. Why are we driving in the first place?
I do that all the time. But I made a right-hand turn where I shouldn't have, and it was definitely going the wrong way down a one-way road. The car that's coming right towards me is a police car, and I had to turn into an empty parking space, back up, and then pull out. And he didn't even bother to pull me over. Didn't bother to do anything.
He could tell you weren't wearing your glasses.
There's like 97 bars right around there. It probably looked like I was pretty hammered. And no, nothing. But Marcus Vick gets pulled over for going down on the wrong side of the road. He was probably doing it for like 3 miles. But
that'd be a long drive on the wrong way. That'd be a long, wrong way drive.
There's some rural areas in Virginia.
Oh goodness.
Rural.
I feel like that's something one of these Bears fans in Nashville would have done. Wrong way.
Yeah, that's a great story. Why don't we talk about that one?
Great segue.
Thank you. I don't know which one you're even saying that to.
I think you're saying it to me.
I think you were saying it to me.
All right, then.
I like to leave a little mystery.
The Bears were in Tennessee this week, beating down the varsity Vanderbilt squad, known as the Tennessee Titans.
Hey, Hasselback's good.
Yeah. It was
Anyhow.
Yeah. Anyways, so all the Bears fans apparently came down. It was pretty much a 50-50 crowd from what it sounds like. A lot of Bears fans apparently in Tennessee because of Jay Cutler, who went to Vanderbilt as well, which whatever. I guess if you're going to like a team, whichever. If you're a Vanderbilt fan, you don't have a whole lot to hold your hat on. So you follow Jay Cutler around the NFL, and you just become a fan of that team too. Well, anyways, apparently they drank most of Nashville dry. Bars were running out of beer all night long. The Whiskey Bent Saloon had just 2 brands of beer left by the time the Chicago contingent left.
I want to go out on a limb and say none of them were Budweiser products.
Probably not. More importantly, though,
my favorite drinking place when I go to Nashville actually ran out.
Yes.
Jay, why don't you tell me about them?
Just across the river from the Titan Stadium, the Paradise Trailer Park Resort ran out of bottled beer by Sunday night.
Let's let that name waft over everyone for a second. The Paradise, which would imply it's a really nice place to be at. Trailer Park
Resort.
Yeah. Resort. Those are 4 words that should never be put together. Ever. I wish we could find photos. If anyone out there that's watching can maybe Google image the Paradise Trailer Park Resort in Tennessee. And if any of our listeners are from there, never mind, you don't have computers. I would love to see photos of this wonderful resort. You think it's all inclusive?
Everything is inclusive there, except for beer.
Well, yeah,
clearly not beer.
They have a bar on the resort, apparently.
But they didn't think to stock enough for the Bears fans.
Why not?
And why is that where they went?
It's right across the river. It's close.
Wait,
yeah, but
I'm sorry. Maybe you didn't hear the name.
It's paradise.
It's a resort.
It's too long to make my fantasy football team name.
Is it? Are you actually trying right now?
I tried. It's too long.
We got to work on that with ESPN.
Yeah, why is there limits on that? You're missing out on so many good fantasy football team names because they have a character limit.
I'm changing mine to Cutler Milk.
Cutler Milk.
I wanted to change mine to Uncle Touchy's Naked Puzzle Basement. And
no way that fits.
And it did not fit. So I had to change it to the Naked Puzzle Basement, and it just doesn't really have the same effect.
Well,
so.
and plus Uncle Touchy has no idea that it's an ode to him.
Oh, that's true. Even though I did put up a picture of the sign of, apparently there is an actual large sign on top of a really scary warehouse that says Uncle Touchy's Naked Puzzle Basement.
Is this at the Paradise Trailer Park Resort?
Possibly.
Where did you find this picture?
It's amazing what you can find on Google. Just Google image.
Google is a very interesting
I really
tool.
hope nothing happens like at your house to where the FBI has to raid your computer. Because that's not going to look good. That's not going to look good at all.
That's probably lower on the list of things
that's
that
the least
don't
of
look good for his computer, though.
Fair
Let's
enough.
be honest. Paradise Trailer Park Resort.
Once they delve into the bear porn, that's when it gets really weird.
The actual animal or the
Jay
football
Cutler?
players?
Sometimes both.
All at the same scene. But yeah, so that's a little great story out of Tennessee. And what is there? If it's right across the river, wouldn't they get busy after most games?
You would think.
So wouldn't they know not to? I mean, to maybe have some beer. Why not? You know, people go to bars. Usually, they tend to like to drink beer.
Well, I think it's a testament to the Chicago fans and their unquenchable thirst.
For what? No way. That's their website. So wait, so this is a restaurant. That's what it's called.
Wait, the restaurant is called Paradise Trailer Park Resort.
Oh, that's gold. I wish.
I got pictures.
Yes,
Oh.
and there's pictures, and the mobile home has like
I'm only seeing
Christmas
pictures
lights.
of food though.
It has like Christmas lights going around it.
That's actually a much nicer place than I pictured.
Yeah, it actually is. I wouldn't mind having a beer there. You guys want to make a trip to Nashville?
You can franchise them. You want one?
Oh yeah. What is it, like $12?
Probably.
How would they feel about opening a nail salon out of the back?
Well, okay. Now what would you call a nail salon? Because Sport Nail's not going to cut it.
No. Now we have to come up with a
Trailer
whole new one.
nails.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Trailer nails.
It's right in front of us.
So Paradise Park Trailer Resort, originally born among the neon lights radiating off the historic honky-tonks of Lower Broadway in the heart of Nashville, Tennessee.
We just gave this place like thousands of dollars worth of free advertising. to most people
$6
listening.
pitchers of beer.
$6 pitchers.
Okay, now I will say this. They have 24 different types of beer on tap and in bottles, and they ran out of beer.
Well done, Chicago.
Maybe they only have one case of each.
They have one bottle of some of them.
Just they have it on the shelf up there. Oh, you really want that?
That's
Okay.
dusty, but all right.
Put it in the ice for you for a little bit.
How do you even go explain to people that sorry we're out of beer? Then they go to the next bar and then they try to order a beer. That bar says sorry we're out of beer.
I think by that point there was no explaining anything to them.
They get famous people to play music there? Wait a second. This place,
Greatly underestimated.
I feel like they've missed the boat here with this name because when I read the article, no chance I would have ever considered visiting this place.
No, without no chance at all.
None at all. Oh, they have AstroTurf floors.
That is classy. Not only can a little putting practice. Have a little beer, putt a few times.
Oh no, you know what? If we ever go to Nashville, this will be our home away from home. Not only do they have AstroTurf floors, but they have a mullet wall of fame,
That sounds nice.
tire chandeliers, and lawn furniture.
Just lawn furniture? Is it on the lawn or is it like inside?
It doesn't say. So, all right.
Don't
well,
worry. If we ever go there, we will definitely twat about it.
Now, see, that would be present tense, so it'd be tweet.
Ah, crap. I'm still working on this. I'm not very good with social networking. But anyhow, don't we have some sports to talk, I think?
Brian says Trailer Paradise sounds like the place where Jerry Springer's guests go to visit.
That's the green room. It's the green room for the Springer show. That's where they go to give birth. That's not where they go to visit.
Now featuring live birthing.
Come
Wait
see
a
that.
second. That's the greatest thing ever. Their website has games on it, so I'm going to be playing games the rest of the time.
Oh, great. Well, we lost Jason.
It has Turkey Fling.
Turkey Fling. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be a Olympic sport coming up?
I think so, along with pole dancing.
Yeah, how all our listeners out there feel about that one? An exhibition sport in the 2016.
They're saying 2016 will be an exhibition sport.
Pole dancing for the Olympics.
Lot of places to practice right outside the studio.
Yeah, you got plenty of. You just say your practice for the Olympics. How many people do you think are hoping it becomes a winter sport?
It'd be a weird.
I'm just saying.
Be a weird winter sport.
Keep a lot of warm water pitchers nearby.
Yeah, the tassels might not stick on very well.
I've seen A Christmas Story. That can't end up well.
Oh no!
Oh.
Oh man, that'd be the worst feeling ever.
Especially like in the middle of the spin, if you just froze right there. That would hurt.
Sounds something like Velcro.
That's just bad.
Oh goodness.
Anyhow, this show has really gone downhill.
It's Dean. It's all Dean's fault.
Yeah, it's all you, buddy.
Hey, so how about Phil Dawson this week, guys? Huh?
Did he play?
He did.
Did he do good?
He did good.
He did good. He got lots of points.
So is your fantasy advice for next week to play Phil Dawson?
I would probably play a wait and see attitude on Phil Dawson on the coming up week. But he does have a weak opponent, but probably not a lot of opportunity. So I'd probably keep him on the bench.
You actually are projecting a kicker right now.
Because you actually want to keep at least a couple of kickers on your bench.
Yeah, you got to keep a couple of kickers.
Oh, definitely. All right, Taco.
Anyone out there that isn't watching the league, do yourself a favor and watch it, because then you'll get a lot more of our jokes.
Yeah, some of them will actually start making sense to you. So would you rate Phil Dawson your mid-season kicker of the year?
That's tough. There's so many to choose from that I can't go with Phil Dawson. I'm actually going to go with Kai Forbath.
Cobra Kai.
That's
nice.
the only reason.
That is very nice. All right, well, so we actually weren't going to pick our kicker of the year midway through.
But we might as well.
However, we do have a few categories I think we can discuss. We are pretty much at the midway point of the NFL season. Some teams still have buys. Others coming up in week 10 and 11. After week 11, we'll be done with buys. Thank God. I hate buys. Good for the teams. Bad for fantasy football. Bad for having to replace good players in your lineup.
Bad for Phil Dawson owners.
Why?
Well, he's on a bye this week.
Then they might get to drop him and actually get a good kicker.
Come on, 15 points. Actually 16 if you count, over 30 yards for, additional points.
Over 30? There's leagues that do over 30? So is it over 40?
Well, that's what I mean.
Okay. But anyhow, back to our awards segment.
It would be 40 or over.
And
if you want to get technical.
Yes, it would be 40 or over. And all we do in this show is get technical. So our awards, which I know every NFL player right now is listening to, hoping they win.
Oh, man. We unfortunately, guys, just so you know, we did not have time to get the little mini trophies made. We will send them to you. Just like your agent's information or an address or something. And
not just the little trophies and not just the mini trophies. The little mini trophies.
Yes.
I have a little trophy.
Is that the one? So is that the one you're going to share with your MVP?
My league MVP. Are we going to league MVP already?
We don't have to start there.
Let's go with defensive MVP.
Defensive MVP so far through week 9. For me, I'm going Chris Tillman of the Bears.
We're going to have to agree then.
I can also go J.J. Watt of the Texans.
That would have been my second one.
However, I feel like, in my opinion, Charles Tillman has had just a little bit of a better year so far on a dominant defense.
The defense we talked about earlier, and he already has, 6 forced fumbles?
7, actually, now.
7.
2 interceptions, 43 tackles from the cornerback position. I mean, he's doing everything.
And these fumbles aren't just the guys are dropping the ball. He's actually punching them out.
I mean, he's punching them loose. Like, watch the Titans game. He actually held up Chris Johnson twice with intentions of punching the ball out of his hand and succeeded both times.
what was it, Kenny Britt?
What about him?
Weeks didn't. No, you know what? Never mind.
That would have been last week too, because they don't play Tennessee twice. That would be unfair.
I think Britt did get one punched out.
Yeah, I believe
Yeah,
so. He forced 4.
Britt fumbled on his very first catch.
Yeah, and Tillman forced 4 fumbles in the Titans game alone.
That's ridiculous.
All right, I was going to go J.J. Watt, but you
still can.
You've won me. I'm not anymore. I will say that J.J. Watt has done an amazing job stepping in after Mario Williams left. It's 10.5 sacks this year.
10 passes defended. He's knocked down 10 passes, 5 of which have been intercepted.
You've definitely sold me. Okay, I'm switching to Tillman.
Why? Those 10 passes defended were J.J. Watt.
J.J. Watt with the 10 passes defended.
And 5 of them have been intercepted by his teammates.
All right, I'm going back to J.J. Watt then. Actually, I'm going to call it a tie.
Okay.
Since it's only mid-season.
You can do ties. That's fine.
Yeah, ties are allowed.
Okay, we have
especially since we don't even have any little bitty trophies.
We have to split the trophy in half.
Oh, man.
It's going to go to Chris Watt.
J.J. Tillman?
J.J.
I
Tillman.
like J.J. Tillman.
Can we get J.J. Watt to deliver it pizza style like he used to do?
Yes, he did used to deliver pizzas.
I never knew that.
He did. He started off as a tight end at, I want to say, Western Michigan.
Yes.
Go Bronx.
Dropped out of school because he wasn't happy there and was delivering pizzas.
I think he definitely made a good career choice afterwards.
Yeah, I don't think the pizza route was his best option.
The guy's just a freak. Did you see the video on him a couple weeks back by chance, Dean? They showed it. I think it was was it a Thursday? I guess it was a Monday night or a Sunday night game. It wasn't on Thursday because people actually saw it. But they showed him basically just all his abilities and things.
Delivering pizzas?
No. Well, that's where the story started. But then they started talking about his ability to be a talented athlete. And they showed him standing still.
This was absurd.
Standing still and high jumping. I want to say it was 62 inches straight up and
straight up. But it was a table that was 62 inches, and he landed and stuck on top of the table.
That is impressive.
From just a standing position.
And the table held up, which is even more impressive.
Yes, it may have been boxes or something, but it was But he landed
not cardboard boxes. They wouldn't have. Yeah. They wouldn't have held him up.
But it was pretty impressive. He just exploded.
That word gets used a lot in sports, but yet I never see an actual explosion.
Only one spontaneous combustion too.
True.
Anyhow, next award. We have Defensive Player of the Year. Let's do a little rookie awards.
All right.
Mid-season rookie awards.
Lots of good rookies coming out of this class, obviously. I mean, the offense obviously going to dominate a lot of the talk, but some pretty good defensive rookies as well. Dean, your defensive rookie, or Jason, whoever, your defensive rookie of the year.
Because we have the same one, I believe.
Well, I'm going to go with Casey Hayward.
I, too,
Green Bay
will go
Packers.
Casey Hayward, the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. He's leading all rookies with 3 interceptions. He has 9 or 10 passes defensed. And last I checked, when quarterbacks threw his way, they had a 14.1 QB rating. Packers aren't really known for a great defense, but he definitely kind of came from out of nowhere a little bit and shored up at least one side of it.
Especially losing Woodson. To have him step in like that.
Yes, he gets my nod right now. There's some good defensive rookies out there, without a doubt. And I think Jason has a different one, so you're at least going to hear about one other.
I do. I like what Hayward's done. I actually like Bobby Wagner in Seattle, though. It's a 4th-round pick out of Utah State. 72 tackles so far this year, 2 sacks, starting at the at outside linebacker for Seattle on a defense that's good. Playing very good football. They're 5-3. He's become a major factor in that. I just think right now, to me, that's a little bit more than what Hayward's done. But not to take anything away from Hayward, because to step into that secondary, first of all, you have to be good to play in the Packers secondary. They have a lot of good athletes.
They do.
So that says a lot there as well. And Bruce Irvin's actually a guy that could get some consideration also in Seattle, especially because he was taken in the 1st round when everyone thought he'd be a 3rd or 4th round pick, and he actually, I believe, has 5 or 6 sacks. So proving he's worthwhile.
And Luke.
And Luke Kuechly.
Luke Kuechly. Linebacker, or Panthers.
I was going to say the Packers.
Yeah, the
Jeez.
Packers. The Packers are all over the place.
They are loaded.
He has, 77 tackles on the season already?
Another great.
There was definitely not a shortage of people to choose from. And I would have to say it's probably the same way with the Offensive Rookie of the Year award, too. This is definitely a year where rookies have definitely stepped up their play and made it a little tougher to win some of these awards.
There's definitely a case to be made for a few guys at this point, and just depending on how everything washes out. RG3's obviously been probably the most popular choice at this point.
I would say up until recently, I think he was a runaway winner of the Rookie of the Year award, but I think that gap's been narrowed a good bit recently.
Absolutely. Andrew Luck has really stepped it up and thrown over 400 yards this past week and really getting that offense going. They've got a winning record in Indy, and they didn't really expect to be where they are now.
And Andrew Luck would actually be my pick for Offensive Rookie of the Year if I had a vote, which I don't know why I don't. That's weird. But if I had a vote...
You find a way to work you not having a vote into something every single week.
It's because I should have a vote in everything.
That's why we don't have the teeny tiny trophies, because you just don't want... If we had them, you'd feel forced to vote.
Yeah.
He wants to vote, though.
I want to vote. I don't know why I don't get a vote for...
Heisman.
I don't know why my rankings don't have their own thing in the BCS. And I don't know why I don't get a vote for any of the NFL awards.
Well, I don't
What
know
about
if they check
baseball
my
awards? Do you
mail-in
care about
ballot.
those?
Of course I care about baseball awards. I think it's ridiculous. I mean, that one, out of all of them, is completely ridiculous that I don't get a vote.
I think the Yankees have enough people voting for them. They don't need one more.
I would not just vote for the Yankees, only like 90% of it. Jeter clearly deserved Golden Glove at shortstop this year.
You keep telling yourself that.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, they're going to create a separate Gold Glove for Jeter. It's going to be the shortstop when the balls are hit directly at you.
Yeah, and he is money. He fields at least 80% of the balls when they are hit directly at him.
Okay, then he can have that award. That's fine. Other than that, Dean's going to go do something else right now because we're talking about baseball out of nowhere. So
Well, I'd like to throw out that Roger Dorn would also be a good candidate as far as...
He would. I mean, he really sacrificed his body in that one scene.
Did you see the bruises?
Those bruises everywhere, which is kind of funny. I was just watching Major League recently, and it's kind of funny the completely different role that Corbin Burnson plays in the two things I now know him from. I mean, I know him from LA Law as well, but as Roger Dorn, which was a total wussy, and then he plays Sean's dad on Psych. And on that, he's like a man's man, and everyone's scared of him. Just kind of weird. That's all.
Well, you know, he traded in his golf clubs for a fishing pole.
That he did.
Yes.
Which manned up a little bit, I guess. On the manliness scale, fishing is above golf.
Yeah, I mean, they're both outdoorsy, but, you know, you don't get to kill anything purposefully on a golf course.
Purposely, though. I'm pretty sure it's happened.
Oh, absolutely. I can't go any further than that, but
it's still under
certainly
investigation.
happened.
We're going to come back with a little bit more insight and research next time, I think.
I don't know that we would have known to plan to look up golfing deaths.
Probably not.
That's gonna be a trailer for the next program. However,
we're now doing trailers, by the way.
Man,
we're getting James Earl Jones to do the voiceovers.
You're making us step up our
club,
one show, and one golf death ever.
Next week.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, I agree with Andrew Luck going all the way back to our rookies. 2,400 yards already, 10 touchdowns, 5 wins. I think is the big.
The picks are a little up there.
He has. He's thrown 8,
but so are the pass attempts. So
yeah, he's averaging over 300 yards a game, and the 5 wins. I think the 5 wins are very important at this point in the game. I mean,
and I think
this is a Colts team that was not expected to win 5 football games.
And even with that, I think if you take the 2 main guys that are being thrown out there right now, which is RG3 and Luck, it's a pick whichever one you like better, even with the rating system. If you go a little bit older school and you go the QB rating, RG3 is definitely ahead of them. If you're one of the new school guys that does the total QBR rating and you think that's better, Luck is actually ahead of RG3 in that one.
But I do love Subway steak and cheese, so I'm going to side towards RG3.
So your pick is RG3?
Solely because of advertising, though.
Absolutely. Subway puts out a good product. Keep that in mind when you're...
But however, they do not slice the meat in their own...
No, they don't.
In their own stores.
Did you actually think they did? That
I
commercial
learned that from an Arby's commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, but did anyone really think they were slicing the meat in the back of a Subway? I've seen it in the back of a Subway. It's like a postage stamp.
They still could have. They could have been doing it in the, out back.
Outside.
Yeah.
That sounds sanitary.
You know what? I'm happier that they slice it where they do then, if Outback is the second option.
What's wrong with Outback? They got good steaks.
And why are they letting Subway use their space to slice meat?
Yeah, that seems. I don't even think they're owned by the same people.
They're just trying to get back at Arby's. I
And
don't
by the
know
way,
why.
Your choice at Subway is steak and cheese?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
That was just the first one I came up with.
So they have steak melts now at Subway. Are they really that much different than a steak and cheese?
I didn't know there was a difference.
Because a steak melt to me is steak with cheese melted on it, correct?
What was this?
This all sounds
Go ahead. Keep
pretty
going.
straightforward. I would have to agree with you. Yes, steak and cheese, steak melt. They're inferring that it's cheese that's melted. At least I hope they do.
What else is going to... Yeah. If you're finding other things to melt on my steak, I don't...
What about candle wax?
I may have to interrupt this with breaking news. Apparently.
Can we get a breaking news sound?
Breaking news.
That wasn't the one I was going with, but okay.
All right. Only thing I could think of was doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. I don't know why that would be breaking noise. There you go, typewriter. The story is still developing. I'm not telling you that. I'm actually reading now. It says the story is still developing.
Well, that's less exciting. I was
Pro
hoping
golfer
that was
Tiger
you.
Woods was found unresponsive in his luxury vacation rental house near the Roque Key Golf Resort in the Dominican Republic earlier today, and later pronounced dead from what appears to be natural causes. By the way, this is today on this website. Dominican Republic officials announced that a full investigation will be conducted as a routine procedure in the accidental and natural deaths involving tourists. The golfer was transported to the Dominican Regional Medical Center after the fire department responded to a call at 8 a.m. from his vacation rental home in the Dominican Republic. It is unclear who was with Tiger Woods at the time or who placed the phone call to alert authorities to the emergency. Additional details will be published as they become available. The family and representatives for the pro golfer have asked for privacy and respect from the media in this time of grieving and personal loss.
This sounds a little...
I'm not buying it.
I'm not buying it either.
This is kind of like the Adam Sandler
These are
snowboarding.
popping. Yeah, I mean, they're coming up all over the place.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of hoax deaths out there, which, by the way, why is that what you do with your time?
Wasn't there a former baseball player that was just stabbed to death in the Dominican Republic?
I'm sure a lot of people died.
Pascual Perez, yes, was actually, and during a home invasion, was killed in his own home. Yeah, I feel like we could almost with all the fake death hoaxes, it's getting a little out of control. You could really name off quite the list of major celebrities that people have decided to do this with. Make your own Mount Rushmore of not dead celebrities.
But I think
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman too.
Oh yeah, there's been a lot of Morgan Freeman died. Charlie Sheen's been dead like 40 times.
Oh, he
but
literally has.
Yeah, I think they actually brought him back to life that many times. So those weren't really hoaxes.
But you know what this means now that with all this news coming out of the Dominican Republic, Haiti is actually a more viable vacation spot on that island.
Wow.
Really shooting up there.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy, recently, fake celebrity death hoax.
Well, you know what? If the fake death hoax count as a comeback, because if so, we might have our comeback athlete of the award.
That's true. We'd have to give it to Tiger.
I mean, maybe not in football, but we would have our comeback athlete of the year award. I mean, to come back from the dead and win a tournament afterwards, if he wins one, that's impressive.
That would be.
I've never even
amazing.
seen a zombie golf, let alone win.
So just in the last month, there's been Morgan Freeman, Adam Sandler, Jackie Chan, Eddie Murphy.
No, the Jackie Chan one was just about his career, and it's true.
You have no
More
idea
news
what
to
he's
follow.
doing. Probably nothing good.
Here's one. Tiger Woods is the victim of another death hoax.
Some people. If they have all this free time in the world, why are they not calling our show?
This is the second death hoax to spread online on the same day of Whitney Houston's actual funeral.
Interesting.
Oh, so we're a little behind on this one, huh?
Yeah, this one article that says the fake death hoax is definitely February 18th, 2012. The article I just read was definitely from today. So apparently there's another fake death hoax. Or he's just really dead and we're being very insensitive.
I mean, are we really being that insensitive, though?
Yes, there's like 5,684 women grieving out there right now.
That very true, but if he is dead, I'd love to be the first person on the scene just to get a hold of his cell phone. I just want to read some of those text messages.
I know. How great would that be? You could definitely sell that to that. What's that fancy boy that does the rumor stuff?
Yeah, that guy with the pink hair.
Perez Hilton.
That one. There
Thank
you go. I'd leave it to Dean to know the fancy boys.
I'm a bit fancy.
Anyhow, speaking of comeback players and zombies playing stuff.
Brian says the ESPYs need to make a new award category for best death hoax. Tiger Woods wins. Well, he's really the only athlete of relevance so far that I can think of.
Well, Adam Sandler did at least three sports movies that I know of off the top of my head. So.
And he wrote The Lonesome Kicker, which was a pretty funny football song. So I think that qualifies you as an athlete, right?
All right. Well, there's 2 nominees then.
Well, in that case, we're athletes because we do a sports show.
That's true.
Sometimes sports.
I don't know that we're ever going to have a death hoax, though.
All you listeners out there can twat your votes to us here at the Sports Bar.
Oh, goodness. So comebacks from the dead.
Yes, which is what we're trying to do right now, is bring this show back from the dead.
From the dead. I think the comeback player of the year really is something that most people, if not everyone around the world, is going to agree on.
Yeah, it's pretty unanimous. It's got to be Peyton. Dean, what do you think?
Well,
maybe it's not unanimous.
I know.
I've got 3 different people that it could possibly be in my mind.
You're really big on ties with awards, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I like competition here. And, well, Adrian Peterson coming back from such a horrendous injury at the end of the year.
And my only question there is, yes, it's a great comeback from that injury, but considering it was the next to last game of the season and also why you beat me in the Fantasy Super Bowl,
still bitter about that.
I am very bitter about that because it was my Redskins that caused me to lose. But he didn't really miss much of the year. Like, he played almost a full season, so it all depends on what you consider the comeback.
Statistically, it was not a great comeback.
Statistically, it was not a great season?
No, it wasn't a great comeback because he played an entire season.
So it all depends on how you take the comeback of the Player of the Year award, is whether or not they literally had to be gone for almost the entire season before and come back from that, or if they're just coming back from a horrific injury. If that case, Peterson's got to be right up there.
The NFL Comeback Player of the Year award has been given out every year since 1972.
Computer boy over here.
The player named Comeback Player of the Year shows perseverance in overcoming adversity in the form of not being in the NFL the previous year, or a severe injury, or simply poor performance.
Really? Poor performance can win you the comeback player?
Absolutely.
From the year before.
And that's why I think you have to make a case for Reggie Wayne.
Fair enough. I can see that. And under those circumstances, I still think it has to be Peyton because he's doing something he's never done before.
So can we give it to Chris Johnson for poor performance in the first 4 weeks? And then actually showing up the last
comeback
4?
Player of the Year in the middle of the season?
I think if there was a comeback player of the week, then Chris Johnson would probably rack up at least a few.
What does it say about Chad Pennington? He won the Comeback Player of the Year award twice in a 3-year span.
It really kind of taints that first one, doesn't it? The fact that he had to do it again. Like, oh, maybe that comeback wasn't that great.
Who do you think would win if they were both on American Gladiators, Chad Pennington or Jay Fiedler?
Not the viewers.
Yeah, we'd all lose in that one. I got to go
Bingo.
Pennington. Unless there's any throwing involved, because I think that shoulder's shot.
Fiedler's not much better, and his isn't shot.
Very true.
Have you seen either of them handle a pugil stick?
Yes. No. Oddly enough, Pennington was at my nephew's birthday party.
I want to hear more about this.
Yeah, he was at my nephew's birthday party. They had the little inflatable joust thing. Pennington got his butt kicked.
Yeah.
It was by Uncle Touchy.
Shoulder went out, didn't it?
The shoulder went out.
Yeah.
It was unfortunately it was for him an odd number year that we had the jousting tournament.
Garrison Hearst has also won the award twice.
Garrison Hearst had 2 seasons good enough to win that award?
His were actually 6 years apart, though.
I didn't realize he won it a second time.
There's some interesting ones on here. Like players you didn't think, like Joe Montana.
What happened to him?
I don't know.
He had elbow surgery. He was out for quite a while. And then I don't know if
he won that in 86.
How long have they been giving out this award?
Since 72.
Wow.
Yeah. Except for apparently in 1985, they didn't feel like giving one out. It just says no award.
So did in 86, did the award
85
win
was
comeback of the year award?
Were they talking about the strike year?
Possibly. I don't know.
I'm thinking.
No, because the Bears won the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it wasn't a strike year all year. It
They
was
just didn't
like
give
for
out the
first-
award.
I mean, they
It was
played
first-
16 games.
Yeah.
And
Redskins won both strike years.
in 80,
Did they really?
Yeah.
Oh, it was 84?
84 was a regular year too. So why are we not giving
No,
out?
it was 83 then.
Yes, but why are we not giving out an award if there was full years? But was there no one?
No one deserved it.
I think the next year the award should have won the award for making a
For
comeback.
making a comeback.
Maybe they didn't have any small trophies.
Yeah, because comeback player of the year is really the equivalent of like a participation award.
It's the green ribbon.
Yeah, it's the green ribbon, the one that every child gets, even the ones that aren't good.
I've got a whole trophy case full of them.
of green
Of
ribbons.
green ribbons. Nothing but green
I
ribbons.
think we should stop with that. I don't think there should be participation awards, especially for women's sports.
So you're saying women shouldn't participate in sports?
No, I'm saying I don't think we should build up everyone's self-esteem because if all good women have self-esteem, who's going to dance in the strip clubs?
And then we won't have pole dancing in the Olympics.
Yeah.
And then I'd win the nail salon bet on the way back from the studio.
Yeah. So
yeah,
Because
exactly.
There wouldn't be it.
There'd be no strip clubs. What? Why is there even a point in having a high-speed connection then?
Here, here.
Yeah. So here's the Downing Participation Awards because they give out too much self-esteem.
So the Comeback Player of the Year award goes to...
Peyton Manning.
I won't argue that.
All right. So
I had Adrian Peterson as mine, but I definitely see the argument for Peyton Manning. I also definitely
is
see
that who you thought it was going to be unanimous with? Was Peterson?
No, I
Okay.
actually thought it'd be more unanimous with Manning, but I put Peterson to kind of give a different perspective, which Dean said everything that needed to
Yeah,
be
he
said on him.
stole your thunder a
A little bit. However, we do have a third.
You're
fourth,
never invited back, Dean.
we do have a fourth player that could
Good
enter
ball,
the
it lasted.
discussion. Is Terrell Suggs.
T-Sizzle.
Maybe. How good's a year is he going to put up, though?
I mean, he had sack in his first game. He seems like he's playing pretty well. I don't know. I don't watch
The body of work isn't there yet, though, just because he's...
It's
This
because
is-
his comeback's too new.
Yeah.
No, correct. That's another player to put into the hat. Not for the midseason award,
Who wins
obviously.
the participation award for the comeback player?
Fair enough. So most importantly,
MVP.
most valuable person.
Aw, you went with person.
At the halfway point.
All right, you guys go first because I've said mine first a couple times now.
I actually switched my comeback and my league MVP. I have Adrian Peterson as my comeback player, whereas I have Peyton Manning as my league MVP thus far.
And I had, before I lost my notebook, Peyton Manning as the comeback player of the year and the MVP award winner.
Touche.
Okay. I myself am going with Matt Ryan.
And that's a very solid choice.
Matt Ryan right now, 2,300 yards passing, 17 touchdowns, 8-0. And I think until they lose, which could happen soon in the next couple weeks, but I feel like that's something to build on. And the numbers are there, but the team's there. It's team performance, individual award, but I think it helps in that scenario.
I mean, the team performance always comes into play with the individual awards because how valuable can you be if your team's got 2 wins? But the only knock on him is they haven't played anybody, and really, it can't be that shouldn't be that big of a knock because they're beating who they have to beat.
I'm changing my MVP pick.
Why?
All 11 players of the Chicago Bears defense.
I don't think that counts. Fantasy MVP, yes, because then that matters.
No, I do. I like Matt Ryan. I think he's stepped up to the next level this year, and that's another reason why I like him for the award. Is he's not just managing games this year. Like he's going out and making plays, and hopefully they score more than 2 points in a playoff game this year and actually look like a team that belongs in the playoffs. That would be nice.
Yeah. Matt Ryan's a very solid pick. Like you said, the 8-0 record is something you have to take into account. There's no way not to. But I got to go Peyton just because I think a lot of quarterbacks, maybe not that I'm taking anything away from Ryan's play. I think a lot of quarterbacks could be put into that Falcons system, and the team still might be 7-1, 8-0. I don't know that a lot of people can be thrown on that Broncos team and lead them to what Peyton Manning's doing right now.
Understandable, and I agree with that. I do wholeheartedly agree with that assessment, and it does speak a lot to what Peyton's done and his ability to play this game at a high level after a serious injury. And we'll see how that all works out. At the end of the day, I think Denver and Atlanta may have close to the same record when the season comes to a close because of the easy schedule Denver has the rest of the way and the tougher schedule in return that
wouldn't shock
Matt
me
Ryan
at all.
and the Falcons do. So,
all right, well, I think we're done with the awards segment of our show.
we are. We've been talking a lot today.
We have been talking a lot about nothing, which is when we do our best and when we know you love to listen, even though probably everyone's left.
Do we have any listeners
Dean's just
out there?
staring right now. I'm not sure what he's doing.
There's a little. I'm just watching the graph there.
Oh, yeah, sometimes I stare at that too. There's a little thing that tells us how loud our voices are. It's kind of cool looking.
I just want to see what spike comes next.
Spike.
There you go.
See, that was a nice one.
That was a nice one. Now we're going all crazy with it.
It is getting a little weird.
And now we're trying to purposely talk louder to see what makes it happen.
This makes for some quality radio.
It does, doesn't
Let
it?
me tell you what's going on. That is some amazing radio right now.
All right, well, I do believe we're going to take a quick break here in a few seconds. When we come back, we'll either be making our NFL picks or we'll be talking some college football. Depends on which one we decide to cut out of today's show because we can't seem to shut up enough for us to get all of our segments in. But I'm sure you'll be treated to gold in my modesty. That's me being modest when we come back. But thank you so far for listening, and we will see you in just a few minutes. Thank you for listening.
You'll see us. We won't see you.
See you.
Shake. You got that deep in your eyes. What can I do to show you that I need you? And you come to me. How can I make you happy? Don't you know you drive me crazy? Don't you know you better stop now? I wanna know you drive me crazy. You know I love you for a while. What can I do to show you that I need you? You swoop down me, you swoop down like an eagle. You know my fist, you know my fist are clean rage. What can I do? My fists are clenching rage. Don't you know? Drive me crazy. Don't you know you better stop now? I wanna know you drive me crazy. You know I love you for a while. Here we go. Can I do to show you that I need you? You know my fist, you know my physically trained. Let's smoke a joint, let's do a line. What will it take to make you mine? Don't you know? Drive me crazy. Don't you know you better stop now? I wanna know. You drive me crazy. You know I love you for a while. Here we go. a job, got nothing to do. I wanna rock and roll all night. Can't hold this guitar in my hand to pay the bills on time. Need a whiskey, I'll feel alright. Gonna get drunk Monday night. Let's go! 48, weeks went by. The price of gas is high. Wanna roll the time and back just to get that extra mile. Need a whiskey, I'll feel alright. Gonna get drunk Tuesday night. Bills piled up, nothing to give. Got the credit tills in line. I'd rather run with a gun in my hand than give up my last dime. Need a whiskey, I'll feel alright. Gonna get drunk Wednesday night. Let's go! Wife and kids, a house to me. I bought the groceries, pay the rent. Leave me hungry and trash the house. That's the max I get. Need a whiskey, I'll feel alright. Gonna get drunk Thursday night. Big corporation won't give me a job. It's all useless politics. Got the know-how, got the skills to say a tattoo punk ass kid. Need a whiskey, I'll feel alright. Gonna get drunk Friday night. Let's go! Don't let none of it get you down. It's only money you can pay. Not back to cover with family and friends and give them up on stage. Need a whiskey, I'll feel alright. Gonna get drunk Saturday night. Need a whiskey, I'll feel alright. Gonna get drunk Sunday night. Need a whiskey, I'll feel alright.
Hello and welcome back to the Sports Bar. Hopefully you are enjoying a nice cold adult beverage while listening to us because we are much more funny that way.
Yeah, it definitely helps our humor, increases it a level. We are back here at the Sports Bar. We have a few minutes left. We may go a little long. You never know with us. But 727-597-4022. If we don't get a call before we go off the air, you will no longer be friends of the show. So keep that in mind.
That means you're talking to everybody.
Yeah, well.
Which means we would have no friends of the show.
Do we really?
Our only caller
is
here now. So we normally make the best decision on a third host for the show for today.
Well, call in and we might add a fourth seat next week.
That's how we're going to start picking our new co-host. Just keep on calling. We got some NFL picks coming up. We definitely want to get our picks in. That way we can keep track of how much better I am than Jason. But more importantly...
Which is weird because that's not how it's been tracking so far.
More importantly, Dean, what do you think about the Belk Bowl?
What don't I think about the Belk Bowl? It's Charlotte, North Carolina, I believe.
It is.
You wrote that down, didn't you?
I did. I had to.
I thought so. I want to know what a belk is.
Well, or a whole bowl of it.
Yeah, it's just a whole bowl of belk. For any of you out there that don't know, we are commenting now on the wonderful names of our great playoff games in college football.
Yeah, we're coming down the stretch in the college football season, and we could talk about the top 4 teams of the BCS and how it's going to break down and how they're all going to go undefeated and all this stuff. But why? Because everyone else is talking about that. I'd rather talk about some of these quality names.
There are some great names, which no one's talking about, and I really feel like all of sports talk radio out there is missing the boat.
Like, who?
By the way, that's probably a bowl game, missingtheboat.com bowl.
Yes. Like, who sat down and said, let's name our bowl the Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl?
Could they possibly fit more? How's it going to fit on the TV screen? What logo did they come up with when they go to commercial?
Or more importantly, don't all bowl teams wear like a patch for their bowl?
How big is that patch going to be? They're not going to be able to put the names on the back of the jersey because it's just going to be the patch for the name of the bowl. The Franklin American what?
Mortgage
Music City.
I already
Bowl.
forgot the beginning by the time you got to the end. And isn't that the place that does the SpaghettiOs?
I believe it is.
I think that's Franco America.
Oh, yes. Franco-American.
Is it American or America?
I think it's American.
Franco American? I think it's Franco American. Maybe it is American.
Callers, give us a heads
I
up.
don't know. Let's look up whatever bowl name they bought out.
Is that Franco Harris's company at all?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Just curious. Oh, that's not what the button I wanted to hit.
Even like, and this one baffles me because it's not the Papa John's Bowl. It's the papajohns.com bowl.
They don't really want to promote the pizza as much.
It's just the website.
I don't think it exists anymore.
It doesn't exist anymore?
It's gone.
Well, as early as last year, there was a papajohns.com bowl.
There was. So now I'm curious as to which one it is now and how much worse their name got.
I don't know, but even the Beef O'Brady Bowl, like, at least that's a sponsorship that's obvious, though.
Yeah, it is. The TaxSlayer.com Gator Bowl.
TaxSlayer.com. Those people really do not like taxes.
They're just angry. They're angry at taxes.
That makes me think of like a medieval knight doing my like.
How do you tie that into gators?
I don't know. Because they slay gators or they're scared of gators? What's in the boat?
Well, gators don't pay taxes.
They should.
Well, here it is election day, so these are the things that probably should have been brought up a while ago that we could have actually voted on.
Yes, on position 17, gator taxes.
Gator taxes.
If gators paid a Florida state tax, then just think of all the revenue we could generate.
Yeah, but Florida people don't pay.
That's why the gators should.
Exactly.
Supplement.
We don't get a lot of tourist gators, so they have to pay their fair share too.
We do put up signs for their protection. There's right where we play disc golf at. There's a sign that says, "Please do not feed or molest the gators."
That's true, and to this day, I have followed that almost to a T.
Which part did you fail on?
It gets a little hazy.
Be careful, man. They bite.
So how about that famous Idaho Potato Bowl?
The thing is, it's not the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. No, it's the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. It's not like it's the famous bowl.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
it's
I
not
was like,
famous,
you lost me there.
It's not a famous game by any means.
No, it's called the famous Idaho Potato Bowl.
No, because when you think of potatoes, you think of Idaho.
And football. Who doesn't love to just sit down on a nice Saturday afternoon with college football and a nice potato?
Would it be weird to you guys if the game wasn't in Idaho?
Please tell me it is.
It is.
Okay.
But would it be weird if it wasn't? In Boise, actually. It's at Boise State.
There's also the San Diego Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl.
There is that one. So in case you were wondering, the papajohns.com bowl is now called the BBVA Compass Bowl.
Oh, I think that may have been last year it did that.
Yeah.
And I do believe we might have a caller. Maybe. We'll see.
It might not even be for us.
It might not be for us. Sometimes people just call.
Caller.
Hello, welcome to the Sports Bar. Apparently we have a caller from a mute. Hello? Helen Keller? Are you there?
Tap once if you can hear us.
Yes. Stephen Hawking? Hello, caller. All right. Well, you fail. So we're going to move on.
I believe that was a representative of the famous Idaho Potato Bowl.
They're still there.
They're
but
still
they're
there.
not.
They're trying. They're trying. Speak. Timmy stuck in a well? All right. Well, hello, caller. I heard some noise. Is this Tiger Woods? Are you in the Dominican Republic?
Are you alive?
All right. That call's ended. So apparently that was
We could not get confirmation on Tiger Woods.
Yes, that was. We doubt it was. Might have been another zombie golfer though.
We tried.
That was fun. Does that count as a phone call?
Yeah, it does.
Of course.
It was connected.
Ah, thank you for calling in, Helen Keller. I'm good to know you're a fan of the show.
We're glad we could have helped you out.
Yeah. She's great at getting water out of a well. Not so good at the phone calls, though.
Not good at all. The GoDaddy.com Bowl. That's always fun.
I'm sorry. I wasn't even paying attention. I was picturing. You want to know where my mind goes sometimes?
Once a week, I do. Yes, I do.
I was picturing Helen Keller and Stephen Hawking having phone sex in my head. That's where it was going. There was a lot of like pressing of the numbers and then like a robot voice going, "Oh, yes, that feels so good right there."
Oh, yes. Yes.
So, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Toot, toot. Press 2 for if I'm touching you in the right spot. Boop.
That was only
Except
one.
I think Helen Keller probably still has a rotary phone, so it'd be like. Toot, 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 toot.
Oh, this is bad. I think
Anyhow.
it would be worse if it was Christopher Walken having sex with Stephen Hawking.
Ugh, that's an ugly picture.
Yeah. How's that feel? That's good.
Oh, yes, Christopher. I like that.
Yeah.
Hey, Christopher, is that your watch?
This watch. I won't get into that, though.
You don't know where I kept this watch.
Oh. So there's definitely some opportunities for some better bowl names out there. I think maybe next week we'll come back with our list.
I want to see the Christopher Walken Bowl.
Okay, so next week we'll come back with our list of bowl games that need to go away and what they should be replaced with.
I like it.
Little taste. Dean, your favorite new bowl in the sports bar world.
How about the Vagisil Fight Itch Bowl?
That's awesome. And it's a good cause.
They
could probably
it's getting the message out there.
They could probably even partner up with Summer's Eve.
And clearly could replace something as horrible as the Heart of Dallas Bowl.
How long's that been a bowl?
What company is there a Heart of Dallas company?
I don't know.
Like how did that become the name? Did someone buy the naming rights? Is it just literally located directly in the center of Dallas?
I'm not really sure.
College football baffles me.
It's going to be played at the Cotton Bowl. Wait, no. This is now the Cotton Bowl?
No way. The Vagisil Bowl has got to be played at the Cotton Bowl.
It would tend to make sense.
I'm sorry, I'm quiet. I'm really upset by this. The Heart of Dallas Bowl is what used to be the actual Cotton Bowl.
They've omitted cotton out of the equation completely.
Do you think that's a political correct thing?
I don't know. But the Cotton Bowl's been around forever.
Yeah, the Cotton Bowl is like part of college football. It's not even the Heart of Dallas Cotton Bowl.
And maybe I'm wrong because I didn't see the Cotton Bowl, but this says the game just started being played last year.
Maybe it's the Heart of Dallas Bowl at the Cotton Bowl, and there'll still be a Cotton Bowl.
The former name was the Ticket City Bowl, but it
I've heard of that
clearly
one.
says here that it was replaced the Cotton Bowl.
Well,
So,
that's just weird.
Yeah.
I've heard of the Ticket City Bowl.
yeah,
Hell of a city, by the way. Ticket City.
I like that city.
It's where all the ticket oaks grow.
So we'll come back with some better names for these bowls next week, but I think we're going to end up this week by giving you guys our picks in the NFL.
It's going to be speed round picks.
It will
is
be
what it's going to be.
speed round picks with Jason here writing all these down, which will be fun because his arm is well. So, first game, Dean, I'll let you start off. It's Thursday night. The Indianapolis Colts at the Jacksonville Jaguars. There are only 313 tickets available for this game, just so you know.
I'm going to go ahead and go with the Colts.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Colts here, too. Jacksonville's a mess.
Yeah, I got to go Colts as well, and we don't really need to give any insight on this one.
No, continuing into the 1 o'clock games on Sunday, the New York Giants going to Cincinnati.
That's a little bit of a tougher game, but I still think the Giants are playing decent football right now. Cincinnati's Jekyll and Hyde type team, so I'm going to go with the Giants.
I agree. I think the Giants, Eli's not going to have another bad game. Cincinnati gets 2 Manning brothers in a row. How's that fair? Peyton last week, Eli this week. Definitely going with the Giants as well.
I'm going to have to go with the Giants as well, although I think the Bungles keep it close.
Yeah, but we don't go on spreads here, so.
Yeah, not a spread type. That makes it harder, and we don't like being wrong.
Yeah. Detroit Lions going to Minnesota to face the Vikings without Percy Harvin. Most likely.
Most likely. I'm still going to go Vikings on that just because, they're at home, and I think maybe that makes them rely on old Peterson a little bit more and a few less mistakes by Ponder.
I think I'm going to go with the Lions on the road. I think they're starting to show some signs on offense. Calvin Johnson actually seems like he's more of a part of it now. The defense has actually looked better, and Ponder has never looked worse.
I agree with Dean there. I'm going the Lions on the road. The running game definitely starting to show some life, which is going to open up more for Johnson down the road. So Detroit on the road. Buffalo at New England. I am going New England at home against the Bills. Horrible defense. Fantasy play of the week. Start all your Patriots. You know the routine.
You just go ahead and write me in.
Yeah, I already did. I already wrote down New England for all three of us. I think that's all the analysis that needs to be given for that one.
Bet the over.
Yeah.
If we condone betting, which we don't.
We do. We condone betting, but only if you're putting up your children and getting money in return.
Oh, okay. Atlanta at New
Unborn
Orleans.
children are allowed to be put up as well. They just have to wait to pay off.
Falcons Saints.
It's like a future bet for like the 2013 Super Bowl or something.
I'm picking the Falcons.
I didn't even hear who they were playing against.
The Saints.
The Saints? I'm going to go Falcons.
Just to be different, I'm going to go with the upset special. Falcons are bound to lose at one point, and the Saints are going to hand them their first loss.
All right.
It'll be a big loss. Sounds good. San Diego coming to Tampa Bay, which means they will not be on TV.
I'm going to, definitely not on TV.
There's still 4,000 tickets available for that game.
Holy crap. I'm going to go Tampa Bay because I don't know why. I'm just going to pick Tampa Bay.
I am actually going with the Bucs as well. San Diego, another team that's kind of a mess, and I'm not taking the win against Kansas City as any sense of going forward.
My actual reason for it, if you want a little bit of analysis, has nothing to do that much with football. It's more that it's very tough for West Coast teams to come all the way across the country and play a football game, and history shows that they tend to play worse.
Very true.
I am also going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think Vincent Jackson gets a revenge game. I would actually curb your enthusiasm on Doug Martin this week. The Chargers are stout against the run. Just a little fantasy insight in. Again, ignore everything I'm saying. But
he traded him.
Yeah. But I'm going to go Bucs with the win.
For the win.
What is this, Hollywood Squares?
Circle gets a square.
I'll take Gilbert Godfrey with the win, please.
Denver at Carolina.
I'm going Denver.
I like Peyton in this game a lot to expose Carolina's D.
No, I just mean this later this week. I'm going to Denver.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, it's a little trip I planned.
You're not going to be able to see the game. The game's in Carolina.
I just like chilly weather and nothing to do.
I'm going Broncos.
Oakland Raiders in Baltimore against the Ravens.
I'm going Baltimore. Again, many reasons. Baltimore's a better football team, and it's tough for a West Coast team to come all the way across.
I like Baltimore here. I like, as Dean said with Cincinnati earlier, I like Oakland to keep this game a lot closer than people may think. Baltimore's defense, not the defense of old, giving up good chunks of yards all over the field. So Oakland's going to keep it close, but I think the Ravens find a way to win.
I also like the Ravens. If this game was in Oakland, I'd probably go with the Ravens. But since it's here in Baltimore, I'm going to go with the Ravens.
I like what you did there.
That was good.
Thank you.
That was good. All right. The New York Tim Tebow Jets. His name hasn't been said. I had to get it in at least once.
Oh, we were
I think
so
that's
close.
the first time this name's been said on this show.
It's not. It's the first two we were very heavy on Tebow.
Really? Oh, okay.
Including a dog named Tebow.
Yeah, there was a dog named Tebow.
And he called in. He's also sitting right next to you.
Yes.
I was that dog.
They are playing the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle.
I'm going to go Seattle because they are very, very tough at home.
I'm also going to go with the Legion of Boom, Seattle.
You are coming up with all the one-liners.
The Legion of Boom, huh? All right.
The nickname, and then also Optimus Prime for.
That is, yes. Richard Sherman is Optimus
Sherman,
Prime. Yeah. I like Seattle at home. Russell Wilson's actually playing good football, and what you guys have said. The Dallas Cowboys go to Philadelphia to play in the Who Cares This NFC East Sucks game.
Yeah, that's just. How do you even pick that game? Both of them could look great. Both of them could look like the worst team in the NFL.
And one of them's going to have to win.
I'm going to go Eagles.
You seem confident.
I was mentally flipping a coin. I pictured whether it was going to be heads or tails. Heads won.
All right. Well, I'm, oh, God. I'm going Dallas in this game on the road, but Philly's line can't block. They're almost as bad as the Cardinals blocking.
Yeah, they're pretty poor.
It's a coin flip, but home team gets the win. I'm going Eagles.
St. Louis Rams going to Candlestick Park to face the San Francisco 49ers.
You said that almost like professional like and stuff.
Almost.
I'm going to go 49ers because the Rams are awful.
I wouldn't say awful, but not good. I do like the 49ers at home, coming off a bye especially. A little bit of time to get healthy for anyone that wasn't. I don't know if they had any injuries or not, so I'm just pretending.
These guys like our new cough machine we got.
It's a good cough
background
machine.
Coughing noises.
We now have sound effects. I'm also going to, with the same logic that I had with the Raiders-Baltimore game, if this game wasn't St. Louis, I would go with the Niners. So since it's in Candlestick, got to go with San Fran.
All right.
And Sunday night, which arguably is the game of the week, the Houston...
Arguably? Someone would actually argue that?
Atlanta, New Orleans might get some votes.
Okay.
Houston Texans going to Soldier Field to play... Unfortunately, they have to play the Bears' offense and defense, which isn't fair for a lot of teams this year.
It's not. I'm actually going to go Texans on this one. Just because I think they control the clock. They don't turn the ball over with that running game, and maybe that neutralizes, and the Bears don't get any short field or easy touchdowns.
I see Cutler making at least one major mistake in this game, and that's probably all it's going to take. So I'm going to take Houston in a tight one.
Houston in Bryce Brown. Okay. Good
Great
to know.
parts.
Good to
body.
know.
Great lower body parts.
I myself,
Well, apparently Sling Blade is now doing picks. I reckon I shouldn't have killed the Bears.
I like Houston on the road in this game too. It was really tough on that, but it's tough to pick against them right now.
You know you want to take the Bears to be different.
Your noise segment took longer than your pick part.
Yeah. And lastly, Monday night, we're all going to pick the Steelers, but if everyone wants to know, they're playing Kansas City.
Where are they playing?
In Pittsburgh.
Okay, then I'm going to go with the Steelers.
If they were playing in Kansas City.
Then I'd go Pittsburgh.
How about if they were playing in London?
I would take Manchester United.
They're not gonna cover the spread though.
Probably not. Yeah, I think we're all going
I'd
Steelers
bet the under
here.
though.
No, good bet. Yeah, Steelers on Monday night against the Chiefs.
Steelers playing better football, and the Chiefs are playing college football. I
Romeo
think.
Crennel gonna fire himself as special teams coach after this week. Maybe I don't know what's.
I
Gonna
bet
happen
I can.
there.
I bet I can do the press conference before it even happens, though. Hey, Romeo, why'd you guys end up losing? I don't know.
I would keep an eye on the sidelines in that game. I have a feeling at some point Romeo Crennel just won't be there for a little while.
He'll be exited out of the building.
No, he'll
Escorted
come
out.
back.
Someone's gonna come back and sit down. I think I just saw Romeo Crennel at the concession stand. Not sure, but he might be him. It'll be him.
He's up there giving autographs. Oddly enough, no one's in line. And that's our Romeo Crennel watch for how long he actually stays a part of this show by still being a head football coach in the National Football League. Because it ain't going to be much longer. Marcus Vick twatted that.
I'd like to also give a shout to John the Trackman at www.screamathewall.net. He is a supporter of this studio.
Guys, we are here live on the sportsbarshow.com. Lots of great entertainers and shows all through this network.
Hyperventilating.
Yeah, I was a little worried there. I was going to die. I still might die.
Zombie radio host. Say hi to Tiger for me.
I will.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back next week. As always, thank you for listening, and thank you for Helen Keller for trying to participate in the show with that wonderful phone call. And hopefully next week we actually get some people with voices that'll call into the show. That would be amazing. It'd be like a radio show or something. But we will see you next week. Actually, you'll see us, and your life's better off because of it. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. This has been The Sports Bar.